What's the long-term goal, lads? So with obviously you're fighting, where do you aspire to be? Where's your belief telling you to go?
Well, for myself and probably for Pav, it's looking like one championship for now.
Okay.
Yeah. Then obviously there's 3 letters that everyone.
Do you really want? Welcome back to the MVP podcast. We're here today with a very special episode of Fight Club. Got my main man Danny.
Always here.
And 2 very, very special guests out of the AVT gym in Leeds. Lads, introduce yourselves.
I'm Pav SAHOTA.
And I'm Kiru SAHOTA.
And what do you lads do for a living?
For a living, I fight people for money.
The crooks. No, I'm kidding. MMA fighters in here. That's what we do at MVP. We're trying to bring you the best content live from here in Sheffield. So, Danny, what's going on, man?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. I'm a bit upset I missed out on the unit challenge. Well, I was initially because I seen free food. And you know how that gets me going? Then when I seen Sosa, Balak and you take the food, you know what? I said, Alhamdulillah, I was not involved in that because that looked painful.
Lads, have you seen the challenge that we put up? You need to check it out after this.
I was getting excited, you know, just saying
you lot talking food.
Make hot chicken wings.
Muji got us the wrong one.
No. Muji got you on the right one, let me tell you. Because that one, mate, you'd be signed off sick for about 2 weeks.
I was a bit disappointed, lads, though. It weren't that hot, you know what I mean?
Alright, listen.
Sosa the choker.
When you all come back for the little reunion show, yeah? When you all come back, we're taking you to the unit. And listen, you all seen this, yeah? All my witnesses. Yeah. These guys are going to have the wings. And you, the 3 of you, see how you come.
Yeah, I'll get them fried chicken wings.
No. These are them hot chicken wings. But lads, let's keep it 100. What's good, man? How are you guys doing?
Yeah, just chilling. I haven't been training as much lately because I'm just coming off an injury, but I'm getting that seen to next week. I'm going into surgery and so what happened was I tore my meniscus in training 2 years ago. I was grappling and do you guys know what heel hooks are?
Sort of.
It's it's regarded as like the most dangerous submission in grappling because basically what you do is you're torquing the other person's leg in a lateral way. So obviously you've heard of like ACL injuries and stuff like that. That happens in football. Like say when someone's foot gets caught in a position but the rest of the leg moves
it away.
So obviously your ligaments and stuff like that are in jeopardy. But that happened to me, but it's not a ligament what I've done, it's a meniscus. So it's like padding in between the bones of your knees and I've torn that. And then because I left it for so long without getting seen to, obviously I thought Punjabi.
See, that's why I could have been one of the greatest fighters ever.
Yeah, basically.
But
it's like
the food that stopped me.
When I'm on a night out, I tell birds I could have been UFC now, but
listen, it's gonna happen, man. You're still young.
But so I'm getting that scene turn. And I should be out for about 2 months, but then slowly get back into it.
How about yourself, Kiru?
Well, at the moment I don't have a fight confirmed. I'm looking at April.
Okay.
I should have fought about 2 weeks ago, but like something. Like one of the teams didn't take it, the fight fell through. But I've been training more or less like I've got a fight coming since the start of the year.
So you're staying ready all the time?
Yeah, I'm staying ready. But I'm also like, there's one thing to staying ready, but I'm improving a lot. Like in my wrestling and other areas, you know, I'm just normally like I'm getting a lot of work in with Pav drilling, but like be mixing it with different bodies like Muji and just drilling everything, just training like I've got a fight.
I seen your video. I think it was yesterday. Did you put up a video yesterday on your Instagram? If you haven't seen Instagram, follow these lads. We'll put their details in below. But these lads train hard, man. I seen your video, the bike pad work. With one of your trainers,
with Big David.
Yeah, you were just at it, non-stop repetition, and that's how you get good. It's a question I like to ask people a lot of the time off air, but I'm gonna ask you guys on air. Would you have gone into boxing if that was an opportunity? Or you're happy that you stuck with MMA?
I just like MMA too much, man. Like for me, I enjoy grappling. Like if you've seen my fights, like I do like to stand and trade as well, but I like everything about MMA. I like the fact that you can just take someone and dash them on the floor and like do what you want. Do you know what I mean? Like, plus I really like wrestling as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't know. I just find boxing really boring as well, man. It's just like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll be honest, lads. Like, if you were to get your average Joe and sit him down here, yeah, and show him like, I don't know, a boxing card and then the UFC card, like, there's no.
There's
like,
a few
surprise.
boxing cards. I
The
think I
UFC
could show.
cards are more stacked, I'd say. Like, if you look at
yeah.
tonight's card, the UFC 248,
Yeah.
it's there are a lot more
Yeah,
stacked.
you're comparing one organisation to many organisations in that aspect, aren't
No,
you?
that's true, but you're looking at the creme de la creme
Yeah.
in fighting, and you're looking at the creme de la creme in boxing, and more times than not, the cards are more stacked. I'm not saying that
No, I
fighters are
do
more
agree
talented.
necessarily. I
I'm not
agree.
saying that at all, but no, just because like growing up, when you guys sort of maybe made this decision to do MMA,
Yeah.
at that time, boxing was probably more profitable.
Oh no, of course.
Money it was a lot more. It
Yeah.
probably still is a lot more.
Yeah, no,
in fact,
it
it is for a fact. But as kids, the MMA probably wasn't as big.
No, so
And
when we first got into MMA, I think that was before Anderson Silva had even lost, didn't it?
No, he did. He lost in Japan. You know, when he got.
I mean in the UFC.
Oh, in the UFC, no. he
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah.
I think he was still at the GOAT. McGregor, I think he was just in Cage Warriors.
Yeah,
then.
he wasn't around.
I remember hearing like people telling me about some guy called McGregor in Cage Warriors and how he's going to be UFC, but
Yeah.
obviously back then I don't even think I used to watch Cage Warriors. Like, I don't even know, man. Like back then, Rampage Jackson was fighting for titles and that. Like,
And
So that was
Rampage, he fought a
yeah.
couple of weeks ago, didn't he, in Bellator?
yeah, we got banged out by
He
Kado,
knocked
didn't it?
out, yeah,
But-
he knocked out.
Yeah, man, it was a different time. Like, yeah, like even like when I first heard about cage fighting, I like, it's like, what is it like? It's some meathead street fighting in like a underground. I saw it in that movie. What's that DMX movie, Cradle to the Grave?
Yeah,
Where they have
good movie
cage,
that.
They have that cage fight, don't they? And there's a Tito Ortiz and Chuck
Yeah.
Liddell. Like, I thought, yo, this is some Marassi. Man, like, I don't know, like, don't know why they're fighting, but
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. How did you both get involved in MMA? Like, what possessed you to go, make that jump into the gym, and how did two kids just get involved, really?
Well, it started at like Lions MMA, which is the community where we're from in Huddersfield. The Sikh temple was doing MMA classes. It was for like MMA and everything, but like the first year we were just doing Muay Thai, really.
Yeah, we're doing Muay Thai for the MMA. That's how fresh we were.
No, like obviously we did kind of know, but like once we first started, it was all Muay Thai for a year, and then it was like we'll eventually, like, once we get the coaching for MMA, get the right person, we'll do MMA. But so then I started off, I took like a real liking to Thai boxing. I fought Thai boxing in K1 for about 2 years. And then when we started training MMA at the Sikh temple as well, that was about maybe like a year into it, maybe
Probably,
18 months or something.
Yeah,
And then Pav started joining in around that time.
yeah.
But by then I'd already had about like quite a few K1 and Thai fights. And I think I might have had my maybe 2 or 3 MMA fights, and then Pav had his MMA debut. I think 2 MMA fights, and then Pav had his debut when he started fighting MMA.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you've explained how you got into MMA and through the Sikh temple and stuff like that. I'd like to ask, what's been your proudest moment so far of your careers?
I'd probably say for myself, it was either... You know what? Yeah, I've got it. As an amateur, in 2 weeks back to back, I got 2 amateur titles, and yeah, like it was an achievement. Like I had to maintain my weight for that time, and I got like 2 back to back wins. The first one, Josh Mottram, he was like game. He was coming from a gym where I previously lost to one of their guys, and like Josh was like, yeah, I lost to one of the guys in the weight category below, and Josh was like their top guy at bantamweight, and I beat him, and then I beat Craig Skelton 2 weeks after. So yeah, that, and in the same year I got bronze in the IMAF. So it was kind of like, that year it was just like a good year for me.
When was that?
2015, I believe. Yeah.
So in total, how many years have you been fighting?
MMA probably about 6 years maybe, and Thai boxing about 8 years ago is when I started Thai boxing in K1. Yeah.
So how many fights would you say you've had in total across both? In total, how many fights?
Say not including interclubs, maybe about definitely over 35, maybe 40. But if you're including interclubs, then 50 plus.
What about yourself, Pav?
I've probably had like about 20 something fights.
20
Because I started after this guy, so basically, like when we were younger, obviously he was like a lot more focused and like he's a good boy. Obviously. I was a bit of a fun guy, mate. So obviously I was just obviously like when you're a teenager, sometimes you get into the wrong crowd or whatever, and I wasn't really on a lot. Do you know what I mean? And then like I got into a situation where obviously like it got like, I don't know, a bit like heavy for me. Do you know what I mean? And then like I was like, oh, I need to learn to defend myself. So I was like, oh, show me some of these head kicks that you do. And then
Is that where you started?
Story, I swear down. I was like, yo, show me some kicks if this guy tries to roll up on me.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm doing pad, and then like I'm doing kicks and my legs are like that unflexible. I'm going like that. You know what I mean? And this guy's like, no, just put your hip into it, like proper, like twisting, like full on body, and like he's doing. I'm holding the pad for him, and I can feel his leg come through like a baseball bat. My arms are caning. Then I'm doing it for him. He's like, nah. Man, so then obviously for me it was a frustration, like, yo, what am I doing, man? Like, I can't even do this. So then I got proper hell bent on, no, I need to fix my technique, I need to learn how to do this. Then the more I did that, I was like, no, I can't just do it once a week, I have to come to all these classes to get good at it. Then the more I did that, I just fell in love with martial arts. You know what I mean? It's never, if you asked me what I was going to be when I was older and as a kid, I think a fighter would be the last thing I'd tell you. Like, yeah, literally at the start of this decade, if you told me that I was going to, or last decade, sorry, if you said I was going to be a fighter, I'd be like...
When you said footballer?
Not even, nah, I was proper at sports when I was a kid, man. Yeah, man, like...
A bit like you, innit?
Sorry, bro, I feel it, pain.
I can't cut this bit out. It might be true.
You get picked last for all the teams, everything like that.
No, I was usually doing the picking, so that's why I got first. But at this moment in time, where you guys are in your careers, it's hard to say because obviously, like you said, you didn't know where you were going to be.
Yeah.
But when you started this journey of MMA and of fighting, did you see yourself getting to where you want to? Obviously, you're undefeated 1-0, you're 5-0 in MMA. Did you see yourself, just taking that leap to the stages and actually doing it?
I think when I initially started fighting, like, you have to think, fighting what we put ourselves into, it's like serious, you know what I mean? Like, let's not lie in it. Like, there's definitely a risk. It could be brain damage or something. You could have one fight and never be the same again. There's all these. You could have it. Look at Anderson Silva when he kicked that guy's leg and he shot his leg. Yeah, like there's so many things that could go wrong. So for me, ever since I first stepped into it, I think I have to do it properly. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no half.
Yeah. How often do you guys train a week?
Like 6 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 days. But say like Monday to Thursday, we'll be doing like 2 or 3 sessions, and then Friday all we do is sparring. Saturday's off, and then Sunday about two sessions on a Sunday. But like say if it's been a heavy week, then we can take the Sunday off if need be, or go 1 session light. But like usually like it's heavy Monday to Thursday. But even that 1 session on a Friday, that is a killer. It's like sparring. We do like 10 rounds or something.
Yeah,
it's like an hour and a half of just like people trying to kill each other. Really.
Wow, it's like a scene out of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, you need to like. Even if you're just to watch one of them.
Ryan when they pull up on
Go! Bodies are flying everywhere.
That's what it's
Wow.
like.
I mean, for you guys, obviously, what do you follow the most? Because there's so many. There's there's Riser, there's UFC, there's Bellator. What do you guys sort of pay attention to the most?
Well, UFC, like that's the main one. And like for myself, I like the region, just watching the regional scene, just to like kind of see where everyone
the score
is.
Part where you are.
Yeah, just I've always just had like an eye on the regional scene, and I probably even will, even when I'm like gone past it, I'll always just have a little eye on it, see who's coming up. And
what's the long-term goal, lads? So with obviously you're fighting, where do you aspire to be? Where's your belief telling you to go?
Well, for myself and probably for Pav, it's looking like 1 championship for now.
Okay.
Yeah. Then, obviously, there's 3 letters that everyone.
There's 3 letters that every single person wants to be.
It's not KFC, lads. It's UFC.
That's what I mean, Danny. Before.
SFC. That's a good one as well.
That's a good one.
They have that place, don't they? All my days. It's in Heckman's. There's a chicken shop called UFC Ultimate Fried Chicken.
Oh, I've heard of that.
I think they have to change the
what
sign.
What are you doing after this, lads?
It's near their neck of the woods.
I could fight one of them bargain buckets.
I think we're definitely gonna have to go one day just for the picture, and like we made it to UFC. It's just you got.
Hopefully, when you both got the belts, and you can pull up on them properly.
But talking about that, you guys sort of you go to America quite a bit, don't you, to train? Talk to us about that. What's going on there?
So
Where's that invite?
Been like 3 times now. So we have a mate out there. He's called Munch Kera, and he's like really good, like jiu-jitsu black belt. He got it from Marcelo Garcia. He's won like loads of big titles in that, and basically, so he's like a Punjabi athlete as well. And then like a few years ago, I just reached out to him on social, because obviously, like in sport, there's not many of us, let's be honest. Like I'd never see any Asians like on TV like doing sport or anything in it. So then obviously I reached out to him like, obviously I followed your career, this, that, the other, like maybe we can hook up for training sometime. And like he was like, yeah, cool, yeah, this, that, the other, and then like kind of left it there. And then like the year after that, like I remember it's one day I was at my boy's house or something, and we just or whatever, and then like I just get a notification saying, oh, like my man started following you, and he messaged me saying, oh, like, what, are you boys still coming out to New York? So obviously I was like, yo, like it's not every day someone.
First thing we did, we got our visa sorted and just booked tickets to like New York. Like when we were like, yeah, we'll sort it out. We like once we got the go ahead that we could go, we just sorted it out there and then like
crazy. When was the first time you went?
So it was January 2018, I think.
18.
Yeah.
Quite recently, isn't it? Not that long ago.
Yeah, and like literally, imagine, I've never met this guy before in my life, anything, Get there and literally like he's like one of man's best friends now, really.
Yeah.
Literally,
really?
like, it was just proper cool, man. Like, just got on with him. Like, we stayed at his house where like his parents stayed, so they make us roti and like everything. Like,
you were loving it.
Yo, it was sick.
Home away from home.
And then like he took us to train like at all these sick places. So there's Unity Jiu Jitsu in New York, and like that's the home of the Meow brothers, Dylan Daniels.
Yeah, that's where he currently trains as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where he trains his Jiu Jitsu out of. And he
So
took
did you meet some of these guys?
We trained with him, like we were doing rounds with like these like next level crazy jiu-jitsu guys like Eddie Cummins and like the Meow brothers and like just all of them. They're like the world's best jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah.
They're beasts, man, but they're all proper nice people as well. Man.
Would you ever go over to Brazil and do jiu-jitsu there, BJJ?
Yeah, like why not? I mean,
I don't mind, man, but the man is a bit nuts out there. I don't know, man.
You mentioned something earlier. You said, with obviously the Asian community, and there's a lack of sort of heroes and people to look up to within sport. How's your community been with you, with regards to obviously you and your MMA stuff and stuff like that? Do you say they're welcoming? Do people look at you differently?
No, I mean everyone tends to be like real positive and if like anyone does recognize it, like, oh, you're doing big things, and it's like just like a boost really.
Yeah.
When someone gives you that pump, really, like obviously you can't let it get to your head too much in it, but like
it's nice to feel supported.
No, of course.
Can I just point out as well something I saw the other day on Instagram, which makes me really happy as well. Seeing something like that. Yourself, Pav, reaching out to a kid that was bullied recently. In Leeds.
Yeah.
His name's Jaideep Singh.
Yeah.
Reaching out to him. So he's been getting bullied by some kids, and you've reached out to him. And do you want to just take it away?
Yeah. So basically, was it last Friday afternoon? I was just on my phone, and then like I seen something come up in my Instagram feed, and what did it say? It was my friend that shared it. It said, "If this boy died tomorrow, would you feel like commit suicide? Would you feel anything?" And that to me just spoke to me. Like I was like, nah, like that's bad. Do you know what I mean?
Of course it is.
Then when I seen it, and then what was going on, so basically I got a bit of a backstory from asking people. Basically, that kid's moved over from Afghanistan about 3 years ago, and then like ever since he's been here, apparently he's just been like picked on because obviously like if you've got like a turban or whatever, your appearance is different anyway. People are gonna try to banter you or this, that, the other anyway, and then if you can't speak in English, you can't defend yourself. Do you know what I mean? So that just annoyed me, like proper, like annoyed me. Do you know what I mean? And then like, yeah, man, like from there, like I just got into contact with people. Like, yo, find me this kid, I'll train him up. Like, for me, that's just like me, because I'm all about giving back. Do you know what I mean? Like, martial arts has given so much to me. Like, if I can use it to enrich someone else's life, then that to me is like worth as much as like a winning a belt or something. Do you know what I mean?
That's wicked.
That's
man.
dope.
That's
like,
wicked.
Yeah, like that same day I managed to get my friends to bring him to the gym, And I had a chat with him. He's a really nice lad,
Mm-hmm.
and like you could tell like what effect bullying has had on him because like he's really withdrawn. But hopefully, like we just aim to like bring him out, make him a more outgoing person.
No, that's wicked, man. So you guys have offered him a year's gym membership.
No, so what we did is we talked to Danny. Danny said he can train there for free.
Okay.
And then we just want to like give him some like privates and stuff.
You just give him his confidence.
Because the first thing he said literally was when like Pav was like, "Oh, so do you want to get training?" This like the first thing he said is that I'm scared. So like for him to go straight to into a class,
it's hard, yeah.
like his English isn't too great, and like he doesn't seem like the most confident person. So like we'll give him a bit of like training session just until he's comfortable like going into the class.
Man, that's really good, man. That's really nice. I saw that and I reached out to Mudji because obviously I didn't know you guys, didn't speak to you guys at that point, and I just said that's just wicked, that, man. That's good to see, like, because I think sometimes with some of these athletes, not all of them, but it does get to their head because they've never seen that kind of money or success or fame, and they forget about that kid might have been them, or they might have grown up with a kid like that, and they might have defended him in the day, and now they're just too big and whatever, and it's refreshing to see, man. In terms of so obviously the aspiration is the 3-letter word, the UFC, not the KFC.
All this talk about chickens, got my belly rumbling, man.
But the thing is, we don't just want to be them guys that just got there, had a couple of fights and got released and be like, as a UFC, what do they call it?
Veteran.
I want to be a UFC fucking star. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course. Who do you guys look up to in the UFC?
I really like Israel Adesanya.
That's fine tonight, innit?
I like Max Holloway as well, man. At the moment, I'd probably say my favourite fighters are Game Bread, Jorge Masvidal, Holloway, and Adesanya. But like my all-time hero is just Anderson, innit?
I'm a fan of Usman. I rate Usman. I rate Khabib as well. He's really good. I like his style, like his wrestling style.
Do you like his kicking the belt off the stage?
Do you know what though? Tony, like he's that crazy. Like he might beat him. Like he's got that X factor. Like
so he could turn it on, innit?
Yeah, like switch. You don't know what he's gonna do.
He's just a proper Marassi Tony. Like that guy, he's like, come along, everything about it. He does like these.
He's a type of guy. He's a type of guy to pull out a samurai sword and kick you in the balls. He's so unpredictable. You don't know what he's gonna do.
It's like when he was fighting Pettis. He gets rocked and then he just does like a forward roll. It's Tony Ferguson. Did you watch the press conference yesterday?
Yeah. I saw bits of it. I didn't get to see all of it.
The stuff he was saying.
But
this guy
doesn't make sense. It's just like even Habib's just laughing like, like, what do I? He's like, when he goes, I was funny. He goes, as fighter, I respect him a lot, but as men, I can't understand.
I saw that bit. Who do you think needs to fight each other? Who is there? The two fighters that just like you need to get it on now.
I don't even know, bro. Like
the main one is just Khabib and Tony. Like
that's the
look
main.
That's signed, innit? I know, but that.
Yeah, but look how many times it's happened, and then it's like
that don't mean shit.
I feel like
in that cage and her team's like go.
I feel like with the UFC, because it's such a good organization, you get to see the fights you want made anyway. So I think that's a very difficult question.
This is what I was going to say when you were talking about boxing before, and I'm not trying to drop shade on boxing or anything.
It's cool.
But like people tend to they have that thing where they avoid each other. Is it like how AJ hasn't really fought like Fury or Wilder? Or like it's just one of them things they can kind of like pick the time or do this. But in the UFC, you have to fight him. Even like Rodriguez, is it the featherweight?
Rodriguez.
Yeah. When he declined the fight, they cut him. It's like.
Yeah,
it's crazy, isn't it? He's savage.
Yeah.
That's how it is. It's dog eat dog. Yeah, they'll just UFC just want to put the best on. For you guys, for yourself first, Kiru, what's 2020 then got for you then? Because still a good 9-10 months left. What's 2020 looking like for you?
Well, I reckon I'll have one regional fight, and then hopefully, touch wood, there's I'll get to a bigger promotion.
Okay.
Like something which is just a step up from the regional scene.
Okay.
And just make my way through the rankings up in a bigger promotion.
Okay, what about yourself, Pav? What's 2020
So
for you?
obviously I'll just be recovering from my surgery, then hopefully get a fight in September. I just want to be active because you can ask Mudji as well. Like when I'm about active, I'm one of the most active fighters in the gym. I'll fight 6 times a year. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
For me, when I was amateur, I just want to rattle out as many fights as I can. Do you know what I mean? Because yeah, like the more active I am, I feel like at home in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got a good therapist. You might want to pay me.
But lads, look, I just want to say a massive thanks to you guys
Thank
coming
you
down.
both
You know,
of
we
you.
appreciate it massively. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Please be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. As Sosa says, like the video. Like the video. If you've already got to this point and you haven't clicked like, I don't know, you need to be tested. So like the video. But lads, one last thing before we go. What's the number one rule of Fight Club?
Talk about Fight Club.
Yeah.
He was a bit nervous. Peace out. Thank you very much for listening.